goes on for a long time. Oh, I'm reeling him in, baby. Oh, yeah.
We're bringing the fun. We're bringing the thunder. We are Funder, flesh and blood, down under. Here we go. This is going to be hot. Pheano, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Who?
Straight from the airport.
Yeah, you are straight from the airport. Welcome.
Like 7 hours in a row sitting to sit for another hour.
Look, we're Australian. Don't even say 7 hours. We traveled 13 hours, then 7-hour layover. So 22 hours total till we got here. Yeah, it was great. We were on the same flight. It was fun. You guys are wearing the same color. It's weird.
We
Great minds think alike.
Pheano, what do you think of Soraya?
Soraya. Is that... Which one's that? I'm bad with names, dude.
Fine.
Is that the illusionist card?
Yeah.
Oh,
The ally.
I literally creamed.
Dude, how good.
I think that like single-handedly ends the game the turn you play it.
Dude, it heals for the damage she does.
Like
deals arcane.
I was like, oh, this is just like a normal turn cycle for Prism. Like I have like, so we're like turn 4, 5, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like you're 30, I'm 25. I've got a bit of a board presence, but we're still in that like jockeying stage of the game where I'm building. And then I have like a normal Prism round where I'm just like pitch a yellow, throw a 1 for 7 at you, and you're like, whatever. Maybe you give me a card on it. Whatever. You're like, whatever. I can't use my whole hand. I'm planning on just going punch, go again, punch an aura.
Yeah.
Then I push my auras. You're like, yeah, whatever. No blocks. I sleep. And then I pitch a blue, play that, punch you, and you're like, do I let you gain 5 off of this? And then if you block it, you can't punch me back for any respectable amount.
It's like a Vincerikai, but better.
Yeah, because if you try punching me to get rid of it, okay.
Demands respect.
I'll block.
Is it better than the Chain and Levia ones?
I'm going to be honest, I don't even know what the fucking Levia one
Yeah,
does
no,
because Levia's dog shit.
I'm trying to remember what they say.
Sorry, man.
Sorry, Ethan.
He knows. It's fine. You see the title of the video? Boy Sant hates Levia.
He's cheating on his waifu. Like
all they can do is talk shit about their hero. Dude, you're famous for all the wrong reasons. Your name is synonymous with missing tunic triggers.
And inting in general.
What got you into Fab?
Into Fab? I mean, I honestly got to thank the professor in person this weekend. He was a large part of that. My Magic group fell apart during COVID. I'm a casual EDH player. So like I just hang out with the boys like twice a week and I play EDH. Pandemic happened, stopped doing that. Pandemic ended and I was like, okay, the store we played at died. So I was like, okay, let's try getting back together, everyone bring them to my house or something and play. And everyone kind of moved on in their life. So they stopped kind of playing. It was stragglers here and there. And then they announced the end of it was either the MPL or the Pro Tour, whatever it was for Magic, of just like big announcement of just like middle finger to competitive Magic. Didn't really impact me as I'm a casual EDH player, but I'm like thing after thing after thing after thing with Magic of just, it's been a nonstop.
We just spent an hour shit talking Magic, yeah.
It's been like a nonstop like 5 years of thing after thing after thing. Yep. And I'm already getting kind of...
And all of those things affect... If competitive's affected, casual's affected. If the collectibles... everything affects everything. It's all one whole thing.
And then a few days later, they announced the Pro Tour, or the Pro Circuit, whatever that like pyramid thing was. And then the professor made a video like immediately after about it, of is this game Fugazi, essentially. I was like, check it out. Got the Blitz decks off TCG Player. Played one game with Jimmy. If you ever had any of these big things, the guy with the dreads.
And the kilt, the leather kilt.
Yeah. We played one game, paused, looked at each other, run it back. Played one more game. How deep are we going? We bought 2 collections that next day off of Facebook. And then bought like a lot off of Hamal. He's the fault I'm a menace in this game. He hooked me up. He gave me the good deal on the Prism cards initially. And then one of the stores was clearancing their boxes back when everyone was starting to break map.
I've seen that photo of you with the...
Yeah, it was a mountain of them. There were multiple layers, too.
Yes.
It was,
I remember this story.
I think it was like 100 of both sets.
Yeah.
So that way we had all of our staples from the 2 sets to play. And then I'll casually go to the RTNs or whatever. Ended up topping all but one that I went to, not knowing the rules of the game. And I'm like, This game's
And
fantastic.
you were onto Prism before a lot of people were onto Prism.
The
Like when
first
she was considered a lot weaker, you were like, she's fucking amazing.
when I got into the game, I Google searched Flesh and Blood waifu. I was like, ooh, who's this Cheyenne? Never mind. This is unplayable. Okay, who's next? Prism. She's pretty cute.
Yeah.
Tried the pre-con of the Blitz deck, and I never
Have
got
you
off
met
Prism.
Livia, the artist?
I'm gonna get some stuff signed
You're
by her
about
this
to meet
weekend.
Prism in real life. She's just a brunette, but it's her.
I'm looking
Are you
forward
aware?
to this.
She
I've
was
never
in
met
Singapore.
her before.
So before we went to Lille, she was in Singapore. I'm like, wait, that's Prism. Like the artist is a self-portrait, just in blonde, same haircut,
I'm
everything.
looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Gotta get a picture with her or something.
She's crazy good.
I got an artist proof from her. Fang picked it up for me at
Yep.
Singapore, but
Awesome.
I'm sad she didn't have any more Prism artist proofs.
Hopefully
so-
she has the playmats because those things are wild to get. Like they sold out within minutes in Singapore.
maybe she has the new.
Dude, there's a Dory playmat. They got playmats for sale right now on Channel Fireball. Anyway, you own a store.
Yeah, I buy and sell cards. I sell on TCG Player mostly, and a lot of in-person stuff. A lot of grassrootsy kind of like building the game up locally. I run the armories and all the larger events at 2 stores in Massachusetts, Webway Gaming in Marlborough, and Great Stories in Whitensville, I think it is. They moved to which town they were. I can't remember the name of the town. So like I honestly spend most of my time not playing the game, but teaching the game, because we usually get like one new player every other week. So I'm like doing a lot of sitting down, teaching them like the basics of the game and fundamentals of the game to like catch them up to speed, because it's important to me to like make sure these people aren't like left out to dry, and like because we are in a very competitive area. We have like I think like 10 to 15 people in the top 100 elo, so like they're just gonna get blown out if no one helps. So, like want to build the community, like my own like local community group of just like, we float around to all the stores. I think we're at like 40 to 50 people. So like, and that was from nothing. Like when I first started, it was
big group.
Literally me, Jimmy, and one other person. That's it. So
I attribute that to your energy. You bring quite a unique energy to the scene, which I love. Right? I love that. I love that high energy, unorthodox style that you bring. You've always been that way. Like that's just your personality. You just,
It's all
love
a
it or
show.
leave it.
I'm glad you guys like it. I try.
I love it. I love characters. That's what we're all about, especially in Sydney. We're full of them. And there's been some interesting photos of you
Pheano's like the Yazi of America.
Yeah, it's like you stepping on people's toes and
Yeah, should I get my right shoe signed by Pablo?
yeah, exactly.
you should, and then do a shui out of it. Drink.
Oh my God, if someone pays me, maybe.
No one's paying for that.
But you mentioned something about these hand gestures.
Did you get in trouble?
I didn't get in trouble. You were saying that earlier at the beginning, like, it can't control me or whatever, and I'm like, LSS is trying. They changed a couple rules because of me. One of them was when we went to take our photo at Lille for the top 8 photos and everything. The first thing they said, like, they were like, okay, get up, but no hand gestures when you go up there. Running joke for like my local group, I'm always doing the circle game or the got 'em game, where it's just like you hold like I don't know why I showed it to the microphone. I'm retarded.
No,
You just like have a circle finger below the belt, and it's like a game from when I was in high school or whatever, where like you show someone that below the belt and you get to punch them.
Yeah.
For like the entire first year that I played the game, I snuck that into every single photo. I literally had a family photo the other day that I snuck. I was like, "Hey, Mom, did this come out good?" Pinch to open the photo. What's that right there? And she's like, "Wow, you like this?"
Did you punch your mum? That's all I want to know.
No.
Smart.
She'll bruise like a banana. I forget what the other one was. There was something else that got changed. I don't remember what it was. Or it was like, I changed it, but it was just like I did something, and then I was like, nah, it's you guys.
It's all clean fun.
Yeah,
It's fine.
just trying to have a good time.
You're a
Put the memes in
staple
the game.
now. Events wouldn't be the same without you. And
Well,
you're
that makes me feel
fucking
good.
good. Like, you know what I mean? There's plenty of like fun characters in Fab, but like you're actually legitimately good.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, you're top in a lot of events. High on Elo, qualified for Worlds. Talk about Worlds. What are you playing? This will be out after Worlds anyway. So.
Yeah. So begrudgingly, I'm playing a physical Icelander for CC.
Okay.
And Prism, of course, for Blitz.
Which
She's very good.
I think she's very good in Blitz.
I'm gonna be honest. When the format was announced, and I was like, okay, I have to play Blitz, and I'm qualified. Didn't look at the meta. I don't play Blitz.
Yeah.
I just insta-locked Prism.
Of course.
I literally didn't know what the metagame was.
I think
like,
she's great.
Like, I haven't played Blitz since I got into the game.
Well, the
I
two
don't play that
stronger
format.
decks in Blitz are Oldham and Icelander, which are very good matchups for you.
So I've learned
And if
the
you
format
see a
is now.
Pheano,
Yeah.
you're not going to be terrified of it like some other decks are.
Yeah.
Also, they got nerfed. Prism didn't.
Yeah.
So-
I just wanted to play the deck that made me, because I hate Blitz. I dislike the format. So my thought was just, I'm going to play the deck that I know, because A, less practice, and B, win or lose, I'll have fun playing my deck. Like,
What don't you like about the format in particular?
I just feel like the format can lend itself to just like high rolly situations where like the game was decided in the first couple hands, and like
Dice roll and
I didn't have any agency over the game. It's just like, oops, you went first or second, and that was favored for you, and your first couple hands just face up just were insane, and there's nothing I could have done about that. Like, cool, you win. Like, this is not why I play this game. I play the game to have agency over the game and feel like my decisions matter. And I'm not saying your decisions don't matter in Blitz, but sometimes the deck can just be like, oops, you're dead. And like, if I wanted that, I'd go play like Yu-Gi-Oh or something, or Magic, where I can just be like, oops, mana screw. Like,
yeah. No, I think that's a given now for Blitz, but there's variance in CC too.
Like,
It's much more noticeable in Blitz.
well, with like the
But it's
length of
gonna
the
make
game.
the thing that people, just so I can explain why it's such a fucking good idea that Blitz is the last 5 rounds of Worlds. There's going to be the most entertaining shit to watch, and at the end of the day, 99.9% of Fab players are not at Worlds. But do they want to watch the top players in the world get fucking high rolled in Blitz? Yes,
That sounds entertaining.
yes, we do.
I personally
and
don't
you're an
like,
entertainer.
Sure. I don't find it good that like people will get life-changing money based on coin flips. Again, not why I play this game. I don't like that.
Yeah.
And I am impacted by this, so I'm like,
Yeah.
this is one of the rare times where I'm like, oh, I actually do get to have an opinion about this thing, not
Sure.
just the old man yells at sky, and this doesn't affect
It is
you.
life-changing money. It is.
Like, I don't like that based on coin flips, but
Look, but
it is what it is.
Just to play devil's advocate.
Sure.
It's their game. If they want it to be entertaining for the masses and it's a luck-based slaughter fest for the last 5 rounds, it's very fucking fun. And yes, it's not great, but you're not entitled, no one is entitled to how they run it. But I think it's a very... Also, this is probably the next Pro Tour. The next Worlds may not be a tri-format one. It might be completely different. I don't like draft. Like, if I had to pick, I'd rather play more rounds of Blitz than draft. I have more agency in Blitz than I do in draft,
Bullshit.
in my opinion. I
would agree with this format of Blitz. Draft. I'm not a fan of this. I've been very vocal about the fact that I don't
There's
like
enough
this draft
people that
format.
aren't a fan. There's like probably 50-50. And I think most people that don't like the format would rather take their punt in Blitz than... At least they can pick their deck than you sit next to too many people forcing or not reading signals or whatever, and you just go, okay,
you can just have cursed shit happen. Like, my Nationals draft pod was cursed as fuck.
Yeah. Well, and like Pro Tour, I don't think the packs were mixed. I think they were mixed packs. The first
I heard
first
some of
draft,
that,
yeah. Some people raised that, like the ratios, like when they went through, they're like, wait, there shouldn't be this many, or there were too little. But either way, it's gonna be fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch for sure.
Yeah. No, but it's gonna be fun to play. Like, the thing is, you might win 5 rounds of Blitz.
Yeah.
And that might just make you win Worlds.
Yeah.
The good news is they're the last 5 rounds. So they do matter less, but they're the cash rounds. Like, they're the ones you need to win to either cash or top 8.
Yeah.
I like,
tank your elo.
I like how if you bubble out 9 or 16, you get a secondary tournament against the devs. That's pretty cool. You saw
Yeah,
that?
I thought that was really neat.
There's a gold foil cash. Also, it's like super fun.
That was almost more valuable to me. Of just like
It's like you want to come
wait,
ninth.
I want to do that
You
instead.
just want to beat the devs, don't you?
I just want to hang out.
Yeah,
I want
yeah,
to talk to them. That
Yeah.
sounds great.
That you can. They're so approachable, man. If you haven't, I don't know. You've probably met a couple here and there, but 100%.
I don't know if I have, or if I have, I didn't know. I've talked like with James White like a little bit.
Well, Chris Gearing was at Jersey, so you might have seen him around. Although he was like, I don't know if he got COVID, but he was in and out.
It's also hard where like I was complaining about the problems for the like the I can't think of the right phrase for this, but it's like sufferings from success problem. But like I've been having the problem of like I'm actually playing through all of the rounds of the tournament up until the end, so I'm like not having a chance to like interact with
Or go
people.
buy play mats, get signatures. It's hard, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I can't run around and like hang out with people. Like I want to spend like a bunch more time with you at the last two things, and I'm just like I'm busy. I can't. I'm like actually really happy that we got to do this beforehand because like I wanted to spend time with you guys.
So it was often said that Prism was like one of the more complicated heroes to play, like actually required a lot of skill. You know, in CC it was often said, and that was the hero you played. Do you think your experience with like EDH, playing all that casual Magic with lots of permanents on the battlefield, you know, doing all sorts of crazy stuff, do you think that helped you grasp that understanding of Prison and working through like, because by and large Flesh and Blood generally doesn't have a lot of permanents on the battlefield. Like you don't have to, I see they're going in that direction though, but is that something you think?
Specifically, I think it was because I played CEDH where there was so much like things that you had to pay attention to where if you miss one thing, it's just like a domino effect of the game can end of just the chain reaction of someone tries to go off and then that person counters that person and then that person counters that person and then oops, this person wins at the end of just like there's so many moving pieces. That definitely helped a lot of just like trying to pay attention to 20 million things at once. But I don't know. I think limited Magic actually was like what made me good at Prism because like limited is my other main format in Magic, and that's so much just board state based gameplay of just jockeying for the board. A lot of cabs, cards that affect the board for anyone that doesn't know. And that's like really what Prism is, of just trying to understand what matters and who's the beatdown and when you're supposed to get punched in the face for 20 and say no blocks so you can just play one aura maybe. Like just like these weird like this in a vacuum is like a terrible choice, but it's my highest win percentage line. Like I had an example of that against Yuki, which was the only reason I won that game. She was playing Viserai at Lille, and she had like the nuts Viserai round out of nowhere, and I was like, shit, I wasn't ready for that. And I took a really weird line that turn that like mathematically in a vacuum didn't make sense. It was like objectively the wrong play if you're just looking at the one turn cycle. But it put me in a spot to win the game over the next couple turns of playing to my outs and stuff. And that's like a lot of what Limited is. Of just like, okay, do these things like that. EDH certainly helps with just paying attention to stuff. But
how do you prepare for a big tournament? Are you part of a team or do you just play with your friends or do you play online? How do you get prepared and succeed in these big events? Or is it just your raw brain power?
I'm just a lucky monkey. Like Lil, I literally didn't play for 2 weeks before that. I was just because I went a week early to go to the Pokemon World Championships in London.
Oh wow!
And I wasn't playing in that.
Okay,
Jimmy was qualified for that, and I was like, well, we're already going there.
Yep.
Let's make a vacation out of it. I've literally never left the country. I haven't taken a vacation in like 20 years. Make a thing out of it. And
how old are you?
32.
Okay, you were 7 last time.
Something like that. So I was like, okay, let's do a thing of it. Okay, we'll play test at night, and then that just never happened. It just always crashed at the end of the night. But like, I think a lot of it was just I've had so many reps with Prism that it's like I just need like a little bit to get the rust off, maybe, and then outside of that, like it's just rinse and repeat. Is just like I could play Prism with my eyes closed at that point. Where
I feel like there's a benefit to not. But every time I hear someone testing till like 2 a.m. before a big event, I'm like, oh no, that's negative returns, buddy. Like sleep, clear head, less stress.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it's way better just go have a good dinner, a couple of drinks, go sleep early.
I agree.
Like 2 weeks off, if you've done the work,
yeah,
and you're set on the deck, I think you perform way better not playing right before the event. Because how good does it feel when you've been busy and then you get to play? It's like, oh, I get to play. Well, if you've been playing 50 hours a week, right? Like it's not, there's negative. Fighters don't do that, man. They do the training camp, then they have time off.
Yeah.
Like just before they heal up. But mentally, it's mental. Because
Yeah.
you need to know you're ready, and you should be ready way before the event. Like if you haven't picked a deck the night before the event, man, I don't know how you win. And I still haven't seen someone that picked the deck the night before win a big event. Like that's crazy shit. Like you should be prepped.
I've seen some people in Magic do that before.
The night before.
I don't know if it was literally the night before. It might have. I remember hearing the story of like John Finkel doing that, where he took a large break from Magic and then just came back to just play like I don't remember what it was, like a GP or something, and someone just like handed him a deck and he topped. He was just like out of practice.
But I think that freshness, but
he's just like super raw talent. Like that guy's a
also,
maniac. He's so good.
I've noticed something because I play competitive computer games. I compete in jiu-jitsu. Sometimes your brain, when you're practicing, you're critical of yourself, right? Misplay. Jiu-jitsu, I do the wrong move, I get caught, I tap. You lose, right? You're losing in practice. But you also can create bad habits in practice. But like raw fundamentals, if you don't play for a week, you usually go back to the muscle memory shit, which is usually good. Like if you're a good player, your muscle memory shit's good. Overthinking, changing your sideboard a million, like all of that is important, but not like immediately before. I think that has a negative return. I think if you should be definitely like it's you come in on a Wednesday for a Friday event, you should not touch cards. That's my opinion. I don't think you should be touching cards. I think you should
I'll do that.
Hang out, chill, maybe like check your deck, your deck list.
Yeah.
If you play a friendly game with your friend, that's different. Like keeping the rust off is different.
Yeah.
But testing?
Yeah.
Whew, no.
Shit should be locked in sooner than that.
Or just commit, like go, I don't have time to learn anything new. Like you don't have time to learn something new the night before of a match. Like you just don't have time. It's not how learning works.
Yeah, that's the problem that I've been running into with the past two things. Like you're asking like what testing I've been doing.
Not enough.
So like these past two tournaments, I had to put in a lot of testing because no more Prism. I played Dromai for Nationals, and I was doing constant stuff like every day for that because I had to like get like 6 months of reps in 2 weeks, and thankfully Talishar, because I didn't use TTS, so like all of my reps before Prism were all in person. So like quantity, not as many reps as I could have gotten, but it's over a year.
Yeah.
And then jamming games constantly. And then finally had Nationals played her, and then I don't want to play that deck anymore because the Phi's all over the place now, and that matchup's just cursed.
Yeah, feels impossible.
So now I'm on an Icelander, but then after Pro Tour, constant 2 weeks of playing, it's just been nonstop playing. Like I had a lot of burnout, so I ended up like taking a break for a week or two after that, where I'm like, I just can't even touch this game for a bit. So like I really should have tested more going into this, but like mental health, I needed to walk away. At least Icelander, like the new physical Icelander version, is like fairly brain dead. It's just throw numbers on cards at people.
It's just value, right?
Yeah.
You're just trying to outvalue.
Block for 6. 8.
Why aren't I should be playing Icelander then.
So brain dead half the time.
Oh,
like
God.
there's turns that you have to tank a bit of.
By
like,
the way, it's brain dead compared to Prism, but it's not brain dead compared to Phi, if you know what I mean. Phi is like...
You at least have to sequence that shit. You don't have to sequence an 8 on a card.
Sure. But you do have to pick what to block with, right?
The threes. The numbers on the cards. You look at your hand and you're like, what's most number?
Have you ever played Dory?
Yeah. Dory's so much fun.
So much fun.
She's one of the decks that I really want to play.
That's why I refused... Dude, Dory's...
I'm looking at her with some of the new cards she's gotten.
No, but not just that. I have a build right now. I've been beating Oldhams, finally. And then that's it. If I can beat Oldhams, I can
That's been the
beat
main
every
reason
other
I didn't
deck.
want to even pick her up, because that looked terrible.
It's not impossible. It's not. And there was one way to beat Oldham, which is like time snaps, keep refractions alive, get a couple of twinning blades, and then go like 4 swings wide. That was one way.
Now, is it doable, like
With
Dromai is doable, where it's set up a 3rd cycle pitch stack?
But what I'm running
is it
now,
that?
which Philip Mackay helped me with it, It's just a physical Icelander. That's what you're sideboarding in. Sideboarding all the big hits.
Why even bother playing
Dory. Why? Because
Well, that's just for Oldham. That's only for
that's
Oldham.
just for all it is your
All right, let's take the Dory cards.
take them out
And
of the
take
deck.
them and put them
Literally,
in the trash,
you take
and then
twinning
we
out,
play the numbers on cards.
but only against. Listen, but Phi, I eat Phis, man. Phis go. They want to
And
be.
then we play the time snap potion. 2 numbers on cards. 16, baby.
It's Dory eats aggro decks
Yeah.
for breakfast. It's hilarious because they don't want to block. They can't. Phi can't block, and you're like, oh, buddy, you think you have a life advantage, but my Dawnblade is 1 for 6.
Good luck racing this.
Now it's 1 for 7.
Yeah.
Now off 2 cards, I can do 14, and I will you will never deck me out.
God, that new +1 counter card.
I
That was
know,
your
my
spoiler, right?
Yeah, it's here. Where
That card is nuts.
I have the full art version.
My first read of that, I'm like, this is
No,
okay.
it's
And then I'm
nuts.
like, wait a minute. How much value do you get out of this? Just assuming it falls off immediately? This is just a 1 for 3. This is insane.
Okay, it's better than that. Let me explain. The hardest thing to do on Dory, which usually costs you 4 cards in an arsenal, is to get your very first counter.
Yeah, so you're like carrying forward that resource into the next
Now,
round. It's great.
When you go second and you have one, you just play Prism. They go Arsenal. You go, no, I'm playing this. And then you start your turn and your game. Turn 1 with all your equipment up with a 4 weapon. You already have the best weapon in the game. Now, whatever the chances are, 20% to draw 1 turn. But there is a chance you draw 3 in a blue.
Mm-hmm.
You know what happens if I draw 3 in a blue? Hit me for 30. I don't care. I'm going to flash 3 in. I'm going to draw 4 cards. I'm going to crack courage immediately.
Off to the races.
And I'm going to get it to 7. Then I'm going to get it to 8. And you're not going to be able to block because once Dawnblade's at 1 for 6.
Imagine if that's followed immediately by, is it glistening?
Yeah.
The new
Make
one?
it a 9. So people don't understand how hard the first counter is, especially into Oldham and stuff. If I get one for free 3 times in a game, also, the deck's running, like people playing Dory are running Razor Reflex and Thrust now. They just gave us an extra warrior reaction that also does Pierce 1.
Thrust. Is that just a +3?
Thrust is a Razor Reflex without the go again text. It just says target weapon against +3. That's all it says.
Is that from the deck? Okay.
From the classic battles.
Is that the generic one?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you
Card
run it
names.
because it's 1 for 3. It's just a 1 for 3. But they just gave us a proper warrior 1 for 3 with Pierce that blocks for 3. So it's just infinitely better.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave us an unattack action that is cost 1, give go again, and Pierce 1. Like, those were the shit slots in my deck that I already went 42nd at Pro Tour with.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have actual real cards to put in the deck. It's like Prism running generics. You sort of...
And like your blues aren't embarrassing anymore. Like,
No.
it's all go agains or like good
Dude, the
second
deck
cycle
is- the
reprise
deck is-
cards.
Also, we haven't seen all the cards. If they put run through tricolor from which is target weapon is go again, next attack. Dude, if they put that in, it's S tier. I'll beat any Prism in the world. Go back whatever Prism you want. If I had 6 run throughs and 9 run throughs in the deck, I beat you.
That sounds like a challenge.
It is a challenge.
You can proxy them.
No,
Let's
because
go.
dude, the amount of people I sit in front of that play Prism, that like apologize preemptively. They go, "Oh, dude, sorry, I'm on Prism," and we're at like a ProQuest. I'm like, "Oh no, this is 50-50." And then they lose because they were way too confident at the start. Way too confident. Like
I mean, so many of the people like into Dory, it's just like the not understanding what to block.
no. And by the way, Prism has all the tools to win. Soul Shield is stupid into Dory. Arclight Sentinel is backbreaking. But you have to hit those at the right moments. If I hit my glistening and it's Oldham's worse is what I'm saying. Oldham was the one to beat. Everything else was beatable.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I feel like
you can just run over a Prism.
also
especially with the
Reinhardt's
non-block
looking like
hands.
maybe is potentially now strong enough to see a lot more play. Some of these new cards are like, oh shit.
I don't like that.
no, as a Prism main, you would.
No, it's not even that. I just find Reinhardt to be just a super unfun deck to play against.
Yes.
Every game that I play against a Reinhardt, I'm mad. I either won. It doesn't matter if I won or lost. I'm like, all I did was be luckier or unluckier than you. None of my decisions mattered.
Great Timmy deck. That's what I'll be playing in Blitz,
Do you know what I 100%
so
believe Reinhardt's the best deck in Blitz.
That's. I mean, it has the most high roll potential. That's for sure.
No, it's not. But okay, I don't know about what the actual numbers are, but I have a mathematician friend that doesn't lose on Rhino, right? He went 11-1 at the team calling, and he only lost to a Kano who went first. Like, that's the only one he lost was he got high rolled by a Kano. He just lost his turn 1. Like, it was turn 0, Kano did damage, flipped over, he cracked boots and killed it. Like, it was just over, right?
Oops.
Whatever the numbers are, like, Dory can high roll, Iceland can high roll, Prism, everyone can high roll. Like, if you get the best cards in your deck at the right time.
Yeah.
Reinar's high roll is way more consistent and often, especially if you win dice rolls.
Especially in Blitz, where
let's
it's
say
like
if
you're
you win
immediately
50% of dice rolls, that deck, I think he was telling me it was like 26.5% of the time he could triple into him. 26.5%.
You just get a free win.
Which means if you calculate it with the dice roll, it's like 12% of the time. So 1 in 9 matches or 1 in 8 matches, he just wins. Like, he just wins. He doesn't have to play the deck. The deck wins. I think that's higher than most decks.
Yeah, it's nuts.
No, sorry, it wasn't even 12. We did it with the dice rolls, 25%. That's what he was telling me. Statistically, and I believe his statistics, he's a good friend of Paul's. Crazy guy, walks around with a cane, yells scabbies, like if you're in a hole.
He's animated like you. Very animated. But look, you're a prime example too of specializing. Okay, some people in Fab, the Spikes, good players like you, they'll bounce from deck to deck depending what they perceive to be the best deck. But you're a prime example of specializing, perfecting your deck.
Yeah, I'm looking for my new home.
Yeah. So do you enjoy that part of Fab? Do you think there's value? Like, there obviously is. You've proven it, but do you think there's more value in that than what the common consensus is around that? Because some people are kind of anti that. They're like, no, you shouldn't.
I'm going to answer that in a few different ways.
Sure.
I think that it's really important for anyone that's like a newer player to get their feet wet and play every deck.
Okay.
Like I said, I do a lot of teaching. The first thing that I do is sit them down and make them play all the WTR heroes, because they all teach you a different core fundamental of the game, like how to look at turn cycles. Rhinar is a great example of that, of like, oh, I want to play this, so I need to pitch this, and I want to discard a 6. That's a 6. Well, that's not a 6. Calculating. Oh yeah, block with that one. Yeah. And like gets you in that thought process of how to look at turns, and like each of the 3 WTR heroes does something like that, like that gets you to understand the game. And I think that's like really important.
Are these like pre-built blitz decks or something, or commoner? Like how are you?
No, we have a big group, so I'm just like, Timmy, give me your deck, and I'll just hand it to the new player, and he'll go run and go crazy.
Play Rana. Yeah,
and then we'll usually try to have him sit down with that person so he can kind of explain what the cards do, at least, so he doesn't have to like spend all the time just reading. Of just like, let me explain like what you're looking to do with your cards. It's just kind of the general flow of the game. Make your decisions. If you have a question, ask me, and I might point some things out, but I want you to make the decisions yourself, so you can kind of ask the questions without me just like
pilot their deck.
Yeah, I'm not gonna just hold your hand. I think there's a lot of value to being a main in this game, because it feels like a fighting game where it's like matchup mastery is super big. Like at Lille, if this was a fighting game, I only fought counter matchups. I didn't face a single Guardian or Wizard the entire weekend. No free wins. I faced only aggro decks, which is not what I want. I think it was like half Viscerai. But it's just I've played this matchup more times than you.
You have, yeah.
I know when you've made an error, and I am going to punish you for that. I am now going to juggle you in the wall. Like that kind of thing. But not every deck can necessarily kind of get that kind of thing. Like Prism was one of the best Punisher decks, so that's a reason why I gravitated.
Hard if you've never piloted Prism, it's hard to understand what's going on, because you don't know what the hands look like. You don't understand
and she has a lot of gotchas. She has a lot of gotcha.
Yeah, but it's a deck that can pivot, and it's till I played it, I didn't realize the weaknesses. Then I played it and I started beating it. I'm like, oh, there's a lot of blocks. I shouldn't be as worried. Like, yeah, Soul Shield sucks, but there's a lot of cards that don't block.
Yeah, you can catch me with my pants down.
And the minute they block with a Herald, it's like, yeah, but I saved 7 life. Like, I didn't hit you, but that would have come in for 7. Or like someone blocked with an Erudition. That tells you so much information when you play the deck. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I also do that a bit in this game, though, because that's just like how I grew up doing card games. I grew up as a poor Yu-Gi-Oh kid that was just like barely able to play the game. I didn't have like a parent giving me money to play the game. So it was like, if I got a deck, that was my deck for the next at least a year. Like I couldn't just switch to a new deck. So like, if you've never played Yu-Gi-Oh before, the format gets power crept frequently. Cards get banned very frequently. So if you just like, oh, what's the meta right now? Oldhim Icelander. Okay, I'm gonna pick one of those up. You will get to play that for maybe 3 months, and then it's the new hotness, and you're irrelevant. So like, I would have to pick something that's like a step below usually, and then just try to hone that, because I couldn't afford to swap decks all the time. So like that just became like the niche that I would do back in card games before Fab. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna just try to master this one thing. That was like, if you go back to look at my old YouTube videos, that's like all I did, just like trying to master there was a deck called Black Wings back in the day. That's funny looking back at that shit. I was such a scrub back then.
Do you enjoy the mind games of Fab? Like, because, you know, you like, maybe people, like, you joke around, maybe people find it hard to read you and stuff. Do you play into that in Fab? Do you like playing against the person just as much as the cards? Or do you think that's a bit of BS?
I actually had a conversation about that like a few days ago, because I was starting to pick up on the body language of one of my friends that I play against all the time. And I was complaining that I was like, this is good for my match percentage against him specifically, but I don't like it because I don't like playing the player. I usually prefer just playing the objective best game of just like, what is objectively the play? Not, oh, I think you have a weak hand, I'm gonna because your body language, because you guys know LSV from Magic?
Yes.
If that's one thing he told me, don't read the player. The player lies.
But okay, the flip coin of that, you don't like reading the play. Do you like playing into that? So do you like sending false signals to your opponent? You strike me as someone that could be quite good at that.
I will sometimes. I don't do that all the time because, like, you can't always be doing that. Otherwise, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
You do it when you got to.
I do that.
I don't got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah. Look at that. I love that. That's so good.
I do it like Dory plays into that because it's all poker.
Oh, yeah.
So the amount of times
it's a game of chicken.
The amount of times I've done my turn cycle in my head and I've realized I'm going to have to pitch a red, but I can go fucking crazy, I'll pitch the red first.
Your hand is weak.
Yes. And then people go, no block, and I'm like, oh, buddy. Because that's what I wanted, and I'll pitch the red, or I'll pitch a yellow. It's the same difference. Someone says a glistening pitch, they're like, there's no way they're pitching the glistening if they had a good hand, so they don't have a blue, especially into like Icelander, and then Icelander will overcommit. And then I go, no, I have two blues in hand. That's why I pitched the yellow first. Because I wanted
see that,
you
and I think you're playing the long game of, you're paying attention to your second cycle.
Never.
I'm just like,
what I'm trying to do is make, like, usually if I have two blues and a yellow, I'm not in an ideal spot. So I want to pull stuff out of you or get the value of, I don't have a good hand, but you're going to let me hit and keep my counter. That kind of like mind game. It works surprisingly well, especially into good players. Because bad players aren't even looking at what you pitch. Yeah, they're not even looking at the color of your pitch zone. They're looking at the facts.
Number on the card.
A better player, average and above, is looking at your pitch going, why did he pitch a red? And literally some will say it out loud. They'll be like, oh, so you pitched a red. Okay, yep. And then they're like, okay, I'll block 3 because they're assuming you can't afford. And then you go, glint, psych.
Yeah.
Draw another card. And then the red pitch never mattered.
Yeah.
It's quite fun.
Yeah.
Jimmy, Silver. What's his name?
James Ceruleus Silver.
I just want to know if he ever washes his kilt. That's what I want to know. I've never seen him in a different outfit.
No comment.
I love that guy. You two are like obviously friends. Very very fun. Very fun. He's here.
Yeah.
Sick.
I think he went to hang out with some other people while I'm here because it was
Man, we want to have him on. We want to have everyone on, but there's so many hours in the day.
Yeah.
But you were very high on the list. Thanks for taking the time. Do you have questions for us, Pheano? What do you want to know about Tall Timmy and Fluke and Box?
Ooh, I wasn't ready for reverse Uno questions.
Whoa. What is going on here?
We've never done this before. You're on the spot. Go.
I'm not ready for questions. What are you playing this weekend?
God, playing Briar. which
Unga bunga.
yeah, yeah, I know.
No, he's playing like Snappy's Briar as well.
Unga bunga. Numbers on cards.
Yeah, it's not confident. Let's be honest. But no, I was a friend of mine gave me his PTI. He had a spare one. That's why I'm playing him Worlds. Otherwise, I'd still be here. I'd be quite content to playing the Call-In and Battle Harden. Yeah, playing that. Forcing Fine Draft.
Good to know if I'm sitting next to you.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone knows anyway, so it's, whatever.
Is that considered cheating if you just tell the world what you're forcing before?
I don't know what the rule is on that, honestly.
No, not at all. Some of the best players,
kidding.
everyone knows what they're playing. So I'm going to do that. And then Reiner in Blitz, my own brew.
Unga bunga.
Yeah. My Reiner Blitz
It's
list
in the
is
name.
Spice.
He's a Timmy man. He
It's
doesn't
Spice.
hide it. He's
Yeah, no, that's what
playing
I'm
to
playing.
his strengths.
I'm going to play right to the last round, even if I go 0-16.
Oh, it's so worth
Which
it.
I'm a bit anxious
worth it.
about the first day. Like, there is a chance I go 0-8 and have to run down around
I
the
don't
hall
think so.
naked. Like, if you can't get a win, surely you got to do something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got to drop trow and, take off.
But but forcing fights impossible to go 0-8. That's the problem. I don't think you can.
Well, you're playing
3-0.
against the best players in the
No,
world.
but Fi just demolishes Dromai in draft. Doesn't matter.
I've 0-3'd
Yeah.
Force 5 pods.
Actually,
I hate playing that deck so much, though.
yeah, me too. I very much stay away from Fi in draft.
The last time I forced it, I ended up being in a 5-5 pod, but I was forcing it before the rest of them were, and then they switched into it like pick 8. And I'm like, did you not look at the packs?
No, there's people like allergic to playing Icelander and Dromai. Like they are afraid to play them,
But we have friends that force Icelander and Dromai, basically.
and they do very well.
And they do
And I
well.
usually force them. I wanted to learn
Yes.
the deck because, like, I'm like, man, I end up playing Icelander every damn draft. I need to have some amount of reps of this before the Pro Tour. I'm just gonna force it early. I'm Fi, get out of my lane.
and it doesn't work.
And then they just like, what? I'll just take the comment out of the back of the pack, pick one. I'm just like,
Yep.
I can't be any louder, dude. There's a dragon in the pack. There's
or like, dude.
2 blue ice cards. Go away.
So you enjoy a bit of table talk? I know you do.
I do enjoy table talk.
Yeah.
Not during drafts.
No, but when you sit down playing a game,
Oh, yeah. Constant shit talking.
and if your opponent gets into it, you love it, no problem.
Oh, it's great. I love it.
Yeah. How do you maintain, like, I enjoy that too, to a certain extent, but I obviously don't have the, mental prowess as you at card games. How do you, because, I love the talk, but it distracts me, right? Hot tip for anyone who plays against me. So how do you maintain focus? Like, complicated deck like Prison, there's shit everywhere, things are going on, but you still have the ability to, go back and forth verbally with your opponent and still play, like, some great
Well,
game.
I mean, sometimes I'll be just like, you'll see like, oh, that's the Pheano tank face. He's don't talk to him. And then like if you try to talk to me, just didn't process.
So you pick your moments.
Yeah, like okay, I have to think about this turn.
Yeah, I've had players literally say that. Like we were bantering, they're like, "Oh, I need to think," and you just let them. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I usually play like a pretty brisk paced game, so it's like, well, we got left 35 minutes. I'ma think.
Yes. Yeah.
We're already in the teens. I'ma think. But like usually the banter doesn't take any brain space around, just like constant flow of just banter talk.
See, Pheano, that's the advantage of playing one deck. I definitely autopilot my deck. Sometimes there's decisions I have to tank, but they're the very pivot. Like you can sometimes tell this is the win or lose turn. Like it's sometimes very obvious. Like low life. This is maybe my last. Do I block here or actually try and take the game? Do I wait one more turn? Maybe I draw. Like that's when I need to think. But otherwise, I'm on autopilot. Most of the time, I've played the match enough.
I'm also like playing this game for fun usually. So like
Yeah,
I
you're
want to have
playing,
fun
yeah.
with my game. So like that's like usually objective. Like winning isn't usually objective one for me. I want to have a good time usually. And like I'll usually like give a bit of a poke at the beginning of the game to be like, is this person down for this?
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to do it if they're clearly
You're
not.
a gentleman.
Yeah, like they're willing to go back and forth with me, or they'll chuckle here and there. Okay, now I'll kind of lean into it, and we'll have a jovial game. And like 90% of my games are pretty jovial. I think I've had like one game in the past couple months that wasn't like that.
Because I was about to ask that follow-up question. It's like, okay, we have some sensitive souls in the TCG space. We've got a few Princess Spikes, a few, precious people. Give us a surely you've pissed people off with the talk.
Yeah, who have you?
I can't
have you
believe
triggered
I've
people?
never had
Have you
a
triggered
unsportsmanlike conduct call on me for shit talk. Never had anyone say anything to me. The only
But if you had someone just go, just shut up, just stop it, I can't concentrate.
I don't think so, because usually I'll feel them out if they're down for that, and
the tall Timmy's always down.
so I'll see you after the 08.
Oh God, drinks are on you.
There was 2 rounds at Nationals that was like that, where it seemed like my opponent was the super serious type, and I didn't really do it with him. And then as the game went, he actually started being jovial with me, and I was like, oh, reverse Uno. And so then I started doing it back to him, and then by the end of the game, we were like that.
Yep.
And then, Mr. Robot himself, Isaac Crute, didn't want to do that, obviously. It was fucking...
Is he an actual C-Pre-30 or whatever that? Is he an actual droid?
Yeah.
Is he that? Is he full on robotic?
He just didn't want to talk the entire game.
I get that. Some people can't. Some people...
Whatever. Whatever. I tried, whatever. He doesn't want to, whatever. I dropped it. I was just I stopped trying to have a fun game with him.
Did you win?
No. I'll tell you guys off camera. It was not a fun game.
That's why I was asking. If you won, at least you got your fun a little bit.
Nope. It was a BG. Oh well, it is what it is. I could have played better and gotten the win. I classic Pheano inted turn 1. So,
you are famous for it. You can't stop doing it now.
No.
Yeah.
I inted my Lil game too. I just never memed it up because I didn't want to take the limelight from other people.
Dude, don't worry about that. The amount that was so
butthurt.
dumb. Yeah, but people.
Yeah,
are just,
why would people get upset? I don't understand that.
people are like, oh, you're taking attention away from Michael. I'm like,
what do you mean attention?
What do you mean? You asked to be roasted. People would prefer to roast
and
you.
this is me coming from Yu-Gi-Oh! Too.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It's fun. The Facebook group Zodiac was just always roasting people. So I'm like, I need to go back to my heritage. Roast the shit out of me, boys.
And this is good. That was literally one of
you
the
know
most,
what's up.
it's the most memorable moment in Fab for me. For that the community coming the roast thing was wholesome, and it never went too far, especially because you asked for it. And then
a few of them went too far, but in my eyes, they didn't go too far enough.
There's no such thing. But there's no such...
I wanted more.
But that's my point. Your reactions, you what was different is when Matt Rogers got roasted at Singapore.
Was that the Matt face?
Yeah, because he dropped, and then the guy won on Dash, and he's but he never asked for it, and I don't like seeing that. That's bullying. You asked to be bullied.
Did you see the...
That was kind of fun, though.
No, dude, he wasn't happy.
Oh, wasn't he happy?
No, because, look, he's a very good player. He's been on a bad run, but, I don't think he was...
I think he's warming up to it. I had a conversation with him a little while ago.
Because it was friendly band. But what I'm saying
Did you see my copy pasta?
No.
So he... the Nationals happened. There's that young Prism. And after the event, someone commented on Facebook about it. And then my boy Tony, remember I said it was me, it was Jimmy, and one other person. That one other person, Tony. One of my OG homeboys. This is in the hotel room at our Nationals. We're very many beers into the night, and he comments on the post being just something about the Prism deck. I don't remember what Tony said. Just it was New Zealand must be soft or something. I don't remember what it was. Just some sort of bullshit drunk comment. And then Matt Rogers just drops this info dump about the Prism deck.
Yeah.
Just explaining why it did well. And all of us in the room are just like, nobody asked. So then we're like, this is gold. So we just, and then he must have gone to bed right then. So then we spread that wildfire on every single post on Facebook and Reddit for a day, and it's just everywhere. Just the copy pasta was just everywhere. And then he wakes up to that, and he's just like, "Oh, what fresh hell is this?"
It's always good fun.
And then he's like, "Oh no, what did I do while I?" And then he was like, "What did I do while I was drunk?" Oh no.
all I'm saying, when there's no consent. You should it's the same thing. When you're feeling out someone, if they want to banter, you're trying to get consent.
But I think he's warming. I think he's warming up to it because it's good. It's good for business.
What I'm saying, it's
good for the brand. It's awareness of like, oh, you know.
But it's different. It's different when it's not art. Like what I'm trying to loop it back to. You asked for it, and then people said it wasn't good. I'm like, no. When the person asks, he wasn't asking for attention. He's asking for negative attention because that's his way of coping with the loss, and it's. Also, you lost to Michael Hamilton. Like, it's not a scrub to lose to, but you're like, well,
I beat him in Swiss.
But
so he is beatable.
Give me that L. Give me that W.
Of course, it's beatable. Everyone's beatable. You still have to play your.
So you're
deck.
saying I can win worlds?
Yes.
Awesome.
Theoretically,
if a casual EDH player can get this far, like
thanks, Pheano.
literally never played in tournament like at this level before this.
Yeah, that's
like literally just a casual EDH player.
Yeah, but Fab is
That's
not
amazing.
like other games. That's what I mean. It lends itself to you're a specialist. You play your deck. You have the fundamentals. Like we talk about this a lot. Flesh and Blood is incredibly easy to learn how to play. Like you can teach anyone in 5 minutes how to pitch an attack with a weapon and
floor slow.
Yeah, but then
ceiling's crazy high.
Yes.
But that's the point. But
I love
other
that.
games have a much lower ceiling, right? So it's more variance based. This is just look. You can be very good. You can remember your pitch cycle. You can I don't think a lot of these things exist in the same game. You know what I mean? You have permanence on the board from the start. Like you have a board state when you start the game. It's crazy good.
Yeah,
And it's getting
well-designed
wider.
game.
Like all these new things, new mechanics, Pierce, Surge. They might not look super strong now, but it's just extra decisions and archetypes that.
I think those mechanics look good.
No, I'm saying, but in a vacuum, like sometimes there's not enough cards to support them.
Not Prism Ally good.
She's nuts. Also, the Bolton card is nuts.
Is it?
Oh yeah, because you can get it with.
Sell me on this card. Why is it good? What's the point of making it an instant?
Well,
is it beacon you can go get the card with?
Yeah,
So you can go fetch that.
But you can set it up. You can play. You don't have to flash in your Luminous the turn you play it. But the great thing about it is, like, you can play your V, right, and it doesn't break the combat chain. So you can double charge V, play your 2 Luminous, crack
and the
Gallantry
get that
for
damage
7
for the whole
so
time.
each Saber's coming in 3 times for 7.
So do you normally have to break the chain?
Yes.
If you
Because
V-
Lumina
If you
is a
V-
non-attack
correct.
action.
It's an-
Okay.
yeah.
So this I don't play Bolton.
No, so
I don't know these. It's
Come
on
on.
me on the card.
Allies of
Yeah,
the
but
lights!
Pheano
Of the
also-
lights!
But Pheano also
He's not a cute waifu. I don't care. I
the way
sleep.
He's
the way
cute.
Bolton combos is you load your soul up and every card in soul is go again.
Yes.
But when you flash in Illumina,
You
it
gain
has
an action point.
which means you flash that thing. You need 2 or 3 less soul to do
Yeah.
your combo.
They can't block effectively.
That was the only thing that I could see. Like, okay, cool, you get an action point. Is there anything else to it?
Well,
If
it
you're
doesn't
getting
break
a
the
ton
chain.
of extra value out of V,
It doesn't break
that
the
makes
chain.
sense. Yeah.
But also, it doesn't break the chain for block reasons. Like if someone throws armor in,
Well, like, don't you normally want to do multiple Vs or not multiple V? Multiple Luminas?
but they're instants. They're all instants.
Oh, all of them?
Yeah, so 3 Luminas is 3 action points in the new card.
Oh,
It's stupid.
I thought it was just like you could do one.
No,
Okay,
no. It's the same deck, but now there's 1 extra card. Like the deck
Yeah, that
already,
changes
if you
things.
triple Lumina can win or double Lumina can win. Now it's you need less in your soul to pop off.
Can I beat 1 Frostbite yet?
1 frostbite. I don't know.
1 Frosty boy?
Oh, God. When Tails come out, I knew Bolton's dead. Like, as soon as we started, like, getting tax effects in the
Hey,
game,
Dory
I'm like,
died
oh.
in Tails as well. What are
I'm
you talking
like,
about?
God, this is crazy.
Fuck Ice
Nice
Heroes.
combo. Blizzard.
Yeah.
Dude.
Hypothermia, finished.
Every time it's happened to me
My
where,
turn?
where I get my refraction bolters hypothermiaed with Icelander,
Yeah.
I just concede.
Ooh, good to know.
Fuck that.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Just
like-
put it in Arsenal
because
game.
the
Playing an
trick-
IP penalty.
Yeah.
Oh, John does that
You
regularly.
promised. You promised.
John-
We had an agreement.
Oh,
You
if John gets frustrated, he just
No.
concedes.
People say frustrated. I can tell when I've lost. Even turn 2, if I've lost, I've lost. Like I know Dory. Like I know what a winning game looks like. If I broke arguably my most important equipment is my refractions into Icelander, and I get hypothermiaed, and I already am at a deficit and all that.
I
I just
never do that in this
let it
game.
go.
And that's like one of the reasons why I played Prism. I got way too many wins off of,
Dory
the
can't
Lord
win from
giveth,
one
the
life.
Lord taketh
Yeah.
off of my opponent's inting.
Yes.
Like I had to put that karma back in the universe of inting myself because I get wins off of my opponents doing it.
Look,
You killed the wrong, or you just lost.
Yeah, I've played Prism. Prism wins a lot at one life. Dory doesn't. One life, I'm dead. Like the minute I have to block, I can't.
Like the calling that the Prism that LL'd.
Yeah.
The Briar just inted multiple rounds in a row of just like leaving the Shimmer there all game. You win so many games off of shit like that happening where your opponent's just like, that doesn't matter. Take 15. And you're just like, okay. Yeah. I'll have a 0 card 15.
I hear you. I probably should play it out to see. Maybe I win by luck. But in my experience,
well, that's not luck. That's
what I mean is get lucky enough that they make a mistake. George doesn't feel like she can win that way.
I think Dory is one of those heroes because she punishes your opponent for not understanding what she does.
No, but Dory, the window of winning is not, I can't be on one and win. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't. Because there's Arcane and there's Shunts and there's Reckless Swings. Like, they all just kill me at one. Especially if you take cards out of my hand.
Well, we're talking about you blocked with boots on turn 2. Or you lost your boots on turn 2 for no reason. You're not at 1.
I'm saying turn 2, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. Like, there's... look, sometimes I know in turn 2 I've lost.
Yeah.
It's like Ryan in Blitz. Quad intimidates you turn 1, you're on 8, they're on 20. I concede. I'm not going to play that match. It doesn't win. I can't. The numbers are way too even between Dory and Reinar for me to win against a deck that already blocks well. He's got all his armor up. If I'm on 8, he's going to block 2, swing. Like, he wins.
If this is like a Talistar game, I probably concede that because I'm like, I didn't learn anything from this.
Well, in armories, I concede. I've never conceded in like any competitive match.
Okay, yeah, and then whatever.
There's no fucking way.
Yeah.
Like Pro Tour, everyone was dropping. I'm like, I'm playing. Yeah. I did like a draft. My draft was, I only won 3 matches in 6 rounds of draft, but I won all my CC games bar the 2 older matches. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just played it, same as you. You just play it because you're there.
I'll just play it.
Our tickets
I want to play.
I'm here to play.
I enjoy playing the game.
Thousands of dollars. I want the elo. I want the experience. Like, how many times am I going to get to play against these people? Never.
Exactly. I'm a fab enthusiast.
No, I'm talking about armory shit. I'd rather go.
That's reasonable.
I'd rather go talk shit and hang out.
That's reasonable.
Then play a game. I'll just give you the win. Have it. And like, it looks like I'm tilting.
That's all. Well, I'm just shit talking.
I do tilt. It's annoying to lose that way, but I'd rather stop the annoyance now.
It's very entertaining. We love it when John does that.
Sounds
but
like
I don't blow up. I just go nuts.
Yeah.
Sounds like you guys really want me to get on stream against a Reinar. Then you're gonna see that is the only time I ever tilt a game against a Reinar. Doesn't matter who wins. I will tilt.
Did you ever think like? You say this is the first game you ever played massive tournaments. Did you think when you and your mate, Jimmy, right, got in and you're like, that's it, we're fucking buying collections the next day, we're playing the game. Did you think then, like week 1 into Flesh and Blood, that the game would ever develop into this, how it is now, massive, big world championship?
Faith in that.
But did you ever think you were going to be a part of it? Did you see that? Did you when did you work out that I'm pretty good at this game? Like holy shit, I can hang with these people.
When I got second place at Indy.
Okay.
Actually, it was a bit before that because like my local area, like I said, had a lot of good people. I got Fang in my area, Joe Cologne. If you're not familiar with him, he got top 8 at
I've heard of the name.
Vegas, the first one. Cody Williams, Yuanji. Oh God, there's more. I think his name's Jacob, the Briar that got top 8 at the first Pro Tour. There's just like a ton of talent in the area, and I've been playing with these people up until this point. And I'm like, oh shit, I've already hanging with these people. I guess I'll try. I'll actually get a ticket to go to the Pro Tour and not just get my invite and not use it. And then I actually only went to Indy because I thought I was going to qualify to the Pro Tour on XP, and based on the math of how much XP I was gaining every week, I was like, I needed a bit of a buffer. So I only went to Indy to get XP to qualify to the Pro Tour.
Then you get second.
And then the very last weekend of the PTQs, I got an invite from one of them. So I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm now just going to this for fun. I was just like, okay, I'm going to probably go 4-3 drop day 1 and then go hang out with my boys. And then I'm like, wait, what's going on?
It's happening.
I'm not like, the amount of times you hear that, Pablo, talk to him, he's getting very consistent results. Loses his first 2 matches at Jersey.
Crazy.
No, but it's not
Guy's
crazy.
goated.
You know what the most common thing I hear? He was there for fun. He tests for fun. He plays for fun. You just said it. You went in for fun and you're playing well. When you're loose,
yeah,
you don't.
Yeah, I'm
You
not
don't
like stressed
tilt,
out usually when I'm playing.
But you're also like, you're less likely to make mistakes because you're not putting that sort of pressure where you have to play perfect. But suddenly you'll have a good run because you have put the reps in. Like, you can't not work and win. But if you've done some work or enough work, there's also like no point putting yourself under a fucking ton of pressure either. Like, just chill.
Yeah,
It's
like
a game.
my goals when I come is I want to have fun.
Yeah.
I want to get food with the homies.
Yep.
And I just want to hang out and have fun with my friends.
We
And
talk
that-
like Matthew
You do
Folks.
put a lot of good food pics on your Twitter.
Yeah.
I do like those.
But I think that
I
plays
need, I
into
need
it.
food recommendations, by the way. For Lille, I had a list of food recommendations.
Mm.
So when I was
Where's
in,
that Mexican place?
Sofa Market.
Oh, dude, it's around the corner here.
Can you text me that later?
Yeah, it's fucking amazing. We'll go. Actually, we got banquet tonight. I probably won't eat till then, but it's very good.
So when I was in London for Pokemon,
Mm.
I had a hotel by the convention center, and then I got a different hotel near the train station that I would be taking a bus to Lille from London.
Yep.
Just closer, cheaper, whatever. And I got there, and for all of my hotels for the entire 2 weeks, I paid for 2 twin beds because I don't want to share a bed, and an air conditioner. Got there, 1 bed, no air conditioner, no screens in the windows. The way they do their like physically make their buildings over there, they're designed to keep in the heat.
Yes. It's terrible.
So like it's like 100 degrees in the room or something. And like I'm a New Englander, so like I like it cold. And so I'm literally dying. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? And they're just like, yeah, you didn't pay for that. Prove it. And I'm like, so then I stay in the hotel room for a little bit, and I'm just like, it just keeps getting worse. I look around, there's cigarette butts. The beds and sheets are stained, and I think some of the stains were from bed bugs.
A lot of people had bed bug issues in Europe.
I heard that.
Yeah.
I think U1G and
But
Fang had to
that's
get a new
because
room.
they're not supposed to have those hot days. No hotel had screens. Like, I had a great hotel, I think, air conditioned, but there were always bugs getting in. Like, it's just not, when it's cold, they just don't. They stay underground or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's hot, they're like out.
Yeah. So and then I was sitting there looking at reviews for the hotel, which, you know, I'm not smart. I should have looked at that ahead of time. I looked, and it just kept getting worse. One of the reviews said that they had their
Dead
room
body under bed.
Their room was broken into and their bag slashed open and all the valuables stolen out of them. And the staff was like, "Oh, that sucks." So they were, and the door wasn't kicked in, so they're pretty sure the staff just robbed them. So I ended up changing my hotel in Lille to be early and got a different bus ticket and just left the hotel a day early and ended up not spending the rest of the week in London, which was unfortunate. I wanted to do tourist things. And then I was in waiting to get onto the bus, and I was just standing next to some chick, and someone was being an obnoxious customer and holding up the whole line, just being a Karen. And then we both just kind of jointly mocked that person. And then we were like, I see you. Let's be friends.
Ooh,
and
ooh la la.
and then I explained to her, like, told her my story of what just happened, like what I just told you guys. And she was like, oh, and on top of that, all the food I had in London, except for Golden Chippy, shout out to Golden Chippy, best fish and chips I've had in my entire life. All the food was dog shit.
That's it, though. That's the English cuisine.
Yeah. But when I told her that, and I was really looking forward to having good food and stuff, she was like, I got you. Lille is my hometown.
Whoa.
I live here. And she spent the next hour and a half on the bus writing a list of all of her favorite food spots, and every single one I went to slapped. The only ones I didn't go to...
We saw the photos. Yeah.
Yeah. The only ones I didn't go to were because I went there and they were just like closed or something, because it was like a college town or something. Yeah. So I think they were like on a weird like period of the year where not everyone's open. Yeah, I need food recommendations.
The food in Lille was great. Overall, like, the food was great. I loved Lille. And we got lucky because the 3 days were the cooler days. Every other day was hot around the event.
I was personally dying, but again, I don't.
No, but
do
like,
well in
if
the
you
heat.
remember, the Thursday night banquet was much hotter than the Friday.
It did cool down.
But that
I was
event,
still melting.
and I really hope that, like, I don't know what's going on with these events and TOs, but like, we were in a fucking warehouse in Lille that no ventilation. Also, they have the big doors when they were open, because I went a day early. There was a nice breeze, but then they're closed during the event, so there's like just stuffy in there. We're in a tent tomorrow. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like you
Who's
can't.
driving the bus?
What I think my theory is, because I know LSS like is famously understaffed, because their big growth periods were during COVID, when they couldn't even hire staff. They couldn't even see their own staff.
Suffering from success.
We met Alex. They hired him back in July. They've doubled the team. If you see the 3-year video, how big the team's getting.
I still gotta watch that.
But I think that's the problem, is they're going, okay, Channel Fireball, you're running the event. Sweet, run it, right? But the problem is they're not going, here's what you have to find to run it. And it's got to be minimum. You know what I mean? Like, you can, if you're gonna pay for an event, you can go. It has to have air conditioning. You could put that in a contract. Singapore was amazing, but all of Singapore, I don't think you could find an event tent or warehouse. Like, it's not built like that. It's a humid country. France, that building is probably fine 99% of the time, because it's never that fucking hot. But
it was annoying. Every single hotel that I got on that trip had an air conditioner, and I'm like, bro, is this shit even on?
But there's
I'd be like, this is like blowing 70-degree air when I have it cranked. Like,
yeah, but they don't need them usually. Even a ceiling fan does more work than an air. Like, when it's hot, ideally, if a ceiling fan's there, you can sleep and you don't wake up drenched. And
yeah, but I paid extra for that shit. I
No,
want it cold.
I know. It's but I think that's like I don't know if LSS have a specific events person, is what I'm saying. I don't think they have like a person that their whole job is they fly there a week or two early. They double check there's a checklist. Like, I don't think they're controlling it. Maybe they don't want to, but I don't think they have the staff to control every little minutia. Because, to be honest, if they had the staff, they'd run their own events and make all the money as well. Like, they could just do that, because like a lot of the Japanese games just do their own. They send their own staff anywhere in the world. Like, do you know what I mean? They just do it and they cash in on the tickets. And
Sure.
But when you're outsourcing it to other people, they're going to cut corners, because it's not their world championship. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a big event for them, but they also going, okay, 1,500 people through the door at this much money. This is what we can afford. And then they want to keep it as profitable as possible. It's not like you can't hate them for it, but if you don't tell them it has to be this quality, like, my biggest beef is like some of the bathrooms in these places. Like, if you can have 1,500 people and there's like our Nationals was in a building that definitely the toilet situation is not built to have 100 people in the building. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter if the hall fits it. If there's like 2 cubicles, then...
Well, that's your first mistake. You never go to the first bathroom. You don't go to
This
the
place had
second
one.
bathroom.
Yeah.
You go to the third.
Look, American toilets make me nervous.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is
Is it
about
because there's no bidets? Is that
the
why?
loos, man. Something about them freak me out.
Is it the reverse swirl?
No, it's just there's so
There's
much.
no such thing.
There's so much. It's like
That's urban legend.
it's like it's fucking filled with water.
Oh, yes, yeah.
I'm like, it freaks me out. I look at this thing. It's like a bath, and I'm like, what the hell am I going to get splashed?
Your
Yeah,
toilet's...
you wash your dangly bits after in it.
Yeah, you must, right? Like, because they freak me out. Like, back home, we have like a little bit of water down the bottom, just a little bit, and then I come here, it's holy shit, I could take a bird bath in this. Like, it's just, yeah, they freak me out. The bath.
that
Yeah,
how you get-
you lift the second seat up. You just little dunk, saves on paper.
Is that how the locals do it? I don't know. I can't work them out.
Try it out while you're here.
Yeah. John, I'll be back.
Let us know how it works. Can you do it in not my bathroom? Oh, no.
Oh god, that's gold.
What's your pick? Because this will be afterwards, well after Worlds. So whether it's player or hero or region, like what are you thinking the results look like this weekend?
I'm expecting Poland to do well again. I think a lot of the Polish players are crazy good.
They love Briar.
I think that's the only thing that like might hold them back. Like if they walk into a room of just like they don't have enough of an edge into the ice decks and stuff, and they just get run over by that, and they're just like so committed to playing Briar potentially. I don't know if that's what the narrative.
We don't know
will
what
be,
they're
but
on.
like yeah. Obviously Pablo crazy. Hamilton's probably going to do really well. He's been doing very consistent.
Are we going to see some non-household names up there in the top
Probably.
8? Like Southeast Asians, perhaps, Singaporeans, maybe Taiwanese.
Imagine if that Talishar Dash just wins it. People talking shit about it. I'd love to see it. That would blow my mind if like a Dory or a Dash or like anything
If
that's
people
like
forget how to block again,
off
I will
meta,
go
yeah.
back to Yu-Gi-Oh.
Okay, for the uninitiated Pheano, how do we block? All right, I'm taking notes.
block with the 3.
9.
Okay.
Arsenal pass.
So if
Into what? What are you blocking 9 into?
Every card they play. You just block. You just
against Dash.
yeah, you're just like,
protect
oh,
them
you're
out.
wombatting me? Okay, I accept. Block.
Yeah, that's correct. Like
Prove to me you can kill me.
yeah, like Dash playing like Pounder and stuff. Just okay, well, dude. How funny does it look? Arachne into Dash. It's like you're banishing your cards. I'm banishing your cards.
Oh, yeah.
It's like banish 9
Yeah, do you think Mill's going to be a viable strategy?
into
with
Dash.
this
It
deck?
will be.
Big brain. Big brain. You don't play Wombat into that deck,
I
but
know.
you play the Hyper Drivers, so they banish them, and then you get to make
Yes.
the get in the mech Shinji for free because they banished them all for you. You're like, thanks, idiot.
That looks. Phil and I were talking about it for like an hour last night. It looks so fun.
Oh, yeah.
I don't feel like it's that good into Dory as per se because it's like banishing off the top doesn't affect me. Like I don't care about the size of my deck or my pitch stack really on Dory.
The size of your what?
Deck.
Okay.
We can talk more about that later.
Talk about it now. What do you want to talk about?
Is it as smooth?
Yes, it is actually.
We were actually trying to we're trying to propose a sponsorship for Durex. Sponsorship. You know, protect your deck, protect your junk.
I like that.
Yeah, the video is us putting the condom over a cold for
Yeah,
heart.
always double sleeve.
Always
Yeah.
double- that's
Use
the-
protection.
You know,
there's I think there's a lot you could do with it.
yeah, TCG players, you know,
Come on,
predominantly males.
Trojan, Durex. Come
It's
on.
a, you know, it might be a good.
By the way, we can get our own condoms made. That's not hard to do. It's where the problem is in card games. We're not going to sell that many.
But I think that card's all insane, just like circling back.
Yes.
The mech is insane. It's gain 15 life,
I know.
present 47 damage.
Yeah.
What?
Well,
Holy.
it's-
Good luck fatiguing that.
What is it? It blocks 5 battle worn.
Yeah, temper.
So it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, and then it dies. But gain 15 life? Oh, okay. We don't use the last temper.
Sure.
Gain 14. Ooh.
Crazy.
Like, it just means that you can, like
But it's
what I
also an
imagine-
anti-fatigue thing, right? Like it's
Yeah.
you can't fatigue. That's out. Doesn't matter what's in your deck anymore.
And like you get like at that point in the game, you probably that probably has relevant text with the overpower at that stage of the game because they probably used all their D reacts already.
Yeah.
Are they actually happy blocking with their non-attack actions there?
We're about to find out. Like that's playable immediately. The Prism one, unfortunately, till we get another Light Illusionist. By the way, it's coming.
At least it's not a specialization.
But it's coming. I don't know if you saw the chat. 100% Light Illusionist, Shadow Runeblade next year. 100%.
Next year?
Yeah. Well, that could be Q1 next year, man. I don't know, but it's there. It's happening. What?
I don't want to wait that long.
Well, I mean, it's not happening this set.
I don't want it now.
I like this better. I like that what they're doing is they like Prism might have been LL'd for a year by the time you get a new one, but that allows the meta to not have a Prism in it, good or bad.
Yeah.
But the cards are gonna not be worth 0. There's another one coming.
I wanted to play it so bad still that if I had more time and I didn't take that like week or two off of testing, I was like actually legitimately going to test Iris Dromai.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
could see again. You flip that over and you've worked out how to maximize the value in that deck. You can win into people. They just have no clue and they don't have time. Like not everyone's adaptable. Not everyone can figure it out.
Burn Them All doesn't have Spectra.
That's correct.
Burn Them All. Mage Master Boots. Shimmer. Crack my helmet. Shimmer. Put 2 counters on my Burn Them All. Swing for 6.
Yeah.
What would you like to do about this?
Oh, and it's gonna swing for 6 again.
You're only going to kill 1 Shimmer, so 7 now.
Do you like brewing?
A little bit. I'm better at tuning than brewing. Like, I can take like like my initial Prism list was a bit of a brew. Not that there was like a ton to brew with Prism initially, but like I remember when I got into the game, I looked at all the lists that were available before the first Road to Nationals, because that's like right as I got in. I started like literally 2 weeks before the first Road to Nationals, and all the lists were out. I just looked at them and I'm like, bro, I'm new to this game and these lists are dog shit. Why? How am I new and saying this is shit? Like that ain't right. So I was just like, yeah, fuck that. I'm just gonna make my own. I'm like, half the cards they were playing just didn't make sense, and I'm just like, no, we're just gonna do our own thing. And then it ended up being like close to like what ended up actually being the thing to do with Prism, though that might have just been me warping things because like I had a week 1 like deck list on the Fab thing of like, oh, that was an actual top with Prism that could have affected things. But I mean, at that point I still didn't know what I was doing. I accidentally cheated one of my opponents that tournament because I just didn't know how cards worked. But that was on him to tell me that I was wrong. He's the one that's been playing for months. I thought I had an Ode to Wrath out, and I was like, yeah, that gives all my auras go again. They're attack actions, right? I'm attacking with them. He's like, yeah.
So Prison's really good.
Yeah, this is crazy good. I don't even need a pitch of yellow. This is insane. He's just like, oh, that is insane. I didn't know. And then I found out like a week later, and I apologized to him, and he's just like, whatever, it doesn't matter. He was like, you're going to win that anyways, because it was Bravo. So, like...
I screwed quite a few people, not like in big events, just like in armories. I didn't understand. It wasn't until I was playing in the calling at Jersey, I didn't understand exactly how Massacre worked, where you only gain the extra intim if you discard a card as an additional cost.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work on wild rides or pulpings. And I discarded off a pulping. I'm like, intim. He's like, nope.
Nope, that resolves. You may just do one.
Yeah, and I was like, what do you mean? Like, I was totally innocent, right?
Yeah.
Like, nothing nefarious about it. I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah, if there's no intent, it's not cheating.
Yeah, and he's like, no, it's like the additional. And I was like, I read it, and I looked, and I'm like, holy fuck. Not only have I got that wrong the whole time, pretty much like all the Brute players I've ever played against in Sydney interpret the card that way. And then ever since I've come back home, I've had to correct so many Brute players. I'm like, no, that doesn't work that way.
I had an awful moment like that for Force of Will. You guys know that card game?
Yeah.
So I used to play that card game. And one of the years, Jimmy went to the World Championships, and it was a weird meta. It was rotate every set for this. The only legal cards are the 5 monocolor starter decks that aren't out yet. Okay.
Yeah.
So
they give you a case?
Yeah, they gave you the cards when you got there.
Oh, wow.
So you had to proxy up the deck and
were you there, Ronnie?
So one of the decks was like cracked. It was the blue one, and we didn't. So you remember the Lancelot card or whatever that like nuked the board or whatever? We read that card wrong on just how the counter removal worked, and just like I don't remember what it was, but like we just read the card wrong, and in our like 2 weeks of messing around with the cards, we were like, this works that way, and then he gets there and round 1 does that, and his opponent's like, that's not what that does, and we're like, oops. And I say I wasn't there. I didn't. I was out of Force of Will at that point. I stopped playing after they banned Reflect, because that was my deck back then. Red Reflect. It was like a mono red aggro deck that started with a turn 1 Jace the Mind Sculptor, but everyone got to start with a turn 1 Jace the Mind Sculptor. So it was like, if everyone has the broken thing, it's not broken, kind of. Yeah. And it was just like really just a consistency piece. It wasn't like doing like crazy shit. It was just like, yeah, I have like, it's what I like about this game of like, I have a lot of like fixing or just like consistency of just like my hands are generally playable because of the way the game works. And then they just started making a lot of bonehead decisions, and I was just like, I'm good. Yeah. The biggest one that was like the nail in the coffin for me, one of my boys was, it was either a GP or World. I don't remember what it was, but he got deck checked. And then the judge told him that he had missing a card in his deck, and he got a game loss for that. You know the story I'm about to tell. Yeah, this was fucked. So, and then on top of that, I believe they ruled it wrong of how the game loss worked, where he went into the game 2, but they treated it as a game 1 where his opponent still got to choose play draw. So he didn't get to sideboard. He didn't get to go. So, like, he lost game 1. It's a game loss. So he should choose who goes first normally. Nope. Game 1 with a game 1 loss. That doesn't make sense. So he just got, like, destroyed immediately. Just quick 0-2 and then leave the tournament. Then he leaves and gets a text or something. Apparently, the judge dropped the card. It was under the deck check station.
I've heard this happening. Yeah.
He comes back, and you can hear him in the back of the stream. And he curses one time. He goes like, I don't remember what it was. It was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And you can like I think it was Alex playing at the time, and you can see them both kind of jump on stream. They're just like, what's going on? And they just like pause the game to just look. And you can kind of hear him in the background being like, what are you guys going to do to fix this? It's your fault. How are you going to make this up to me? And they basically tell him, like, there's nothing we can do about this now, more or less. We're going to make this better. Just leave for now. Cool off. We'll fix this. And then by fixing it, they banned him from the game.
This happened to Matt Folks in Lil?
The deck check thing?
Yep.
I was next to it. I was sitting there when that happened.
Yep. Bullshit. Like, if you're going to be a judge, you have to take a lot of personal responsibility. You should not be taking shortcuts. You should be checking everything. Like, they miscounted.
What?
I think he got an IP, and then the
They
card,
miscounted his deck check.
Yeah. I think his list had 3 of a card. They only found 2. Lucky he was playing a legal deck, so he got an IP, and then still won through the IP, luckily.
Wow.
And then went and checked his deck box, and there's the third copy. Like, so the copy can be flat.
They actually said that he presented a 59 card deck, not that his deck just period was missing a card.
Or whatever it was, but it wasn't true. It was the judging team made a mistake. You're aware of that? Is that what you saw?
I was next to him again when he said that happened. I can't speak for what happened on the judge staff side of that, right. But I was there when that whole IP penalty happened. And then I switched seats with him for the next round of I was next to him on the other way. I somehow didn't face him the entire tournament. I was like within a couple seats of him all weekend. I was even in his first draft pod. Never faced him. Like, what are the odds of that? And then I heard him talking to the judges about that. Like, oh, maybe you guys made a mistake or whatever. I can't speak to what the judges.
Okay, you weren't. Yeah. I did ask the judge, like, because, Jotrick and a few people I knew were judging. I knew the level 2. They fucked up, but it's hard, like, because it also it sheds doubt. Like, you put a player in that position where, like, maybe they were doing something wrong, or they presented the wrong thing, but then, like, leaving a card in the deck box, like, there should be like, if you're gonna put penalties for judge stuff, you should also have exactly what happens when the judges fuck up. Like, what's the, like, because it's super hard to go reverse decision, especially like rounds down the track. Like, giving someone an IP that's not deserved is like a big deal. Like, you should be doing everything you can to avoid it. Double checking. Like, I think if you deck check someone and you find a mistake, you should immediately not say a word, get another judge to deck check it, and they should be able to find the same result you did. You know what I mean? Like, it should be before we penalize people, there should be a very strict, you know what I mean? Like legally, you got to show proof, evidence. If you deck check and you see a marked card, you should say nothing. Mm-hmm. Get the head judge. Go, can you deck check this, please? And they can assume there's something wrong, but you should say nothing. You should if 2 judges pick up on the missing card, then we have there's a cross check,
I guess, but then you run into issues of time.
That's
super time consuming.
It just sucks. I don't have a solution. It sucks.
Just bullshitting. Yeah,
it sucks. Guys, I've got to end it. Thank you, Pheano. Can't wait to hang out with you this weekend. Drop day 1 so we can hang out more, because I'm not playing well. I'm kidding. Win it. What are you talking? Listen, you're capable of winning it. You can play at that level.
I was low-key sad that I got top 8 at Lille because I was planning on hanging out with that person that gave me the food recommendations Sunday. I was like, fuck, now I got to play top 8 instead.
You say sorry.
And I was saying that all weekend, too. Like, I'm going to do good on the basis that I want to go fuck around and hang out and do shit.
Why didn't you give me her number? I would have...
Cheers, Pheano.
Good
Thanks
luck.
for coming and hanging out. It's been awesome. Wicked.